Hey guys, it's Liv here, and in today's video, I'm going to be taking on the Spikemuth Cup ladder tournament. This is just an easy ladder tournament that's usually hosted once a week by Moxie Boosted or someone, friends of Moxie Boosted, one of the people who has been really pushing this format in general this season. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and if you do, leave a like below and subscribe. It seems like for our first team here, we're taking on Dragozult Sand. If you guys think the team that I'm using is familiar though, I mentioned in my last Spikemuth Cup video, but I was going to bug Clutch to give me his team actually. So Clutch traded me over the Mons, and I figured I would be using that team today because I like the Como aspect a lot, and I think there's a lot of other cool Mons here. We did realize a lot of things I did confirm, Specs Fini, AV Metagross, etc. So honestly, I'll take that. I'll take how right I was in predicting this team if nothing else. They do have Sand here, so objectively speaking, I'm going to need Rillaboom and Fini for certain. The Dragozult is also very terrifying, and sadly, I think that this does kind of deem my lead having to be Como-O and Rillaboom, and hoping that no Gyapdos lead. If they do lead off with Gyapdos, I'll have Mandibuzz in the back, which is pretty good. And I think I need Metagross for the Amoonguss as well as for the Lele. This is not a great matchup for me in all honesty. I think that the Gyapdos and the Dragozult put so much pressure on this team. I really need a ground type. Oh my god. If nothing else, I've learned that this team really needs a ground type Pokemon. Clutch, if you're watching us, fit a ground type on here. I did a first game that I played so terribly. I don't know what I was doing that game, but I did not even, it's not even going in the video. It was too fucking painful to watch. Maybe I'll make it a member thing. Maybe we'll make it a member thing. I still have the footage. But yeah, I just could not bear to show that. They're going to lead off with Dragozult and Gyapdos. So that's actually not terrible for me, in all honesty, because what I could do here, I can go for a fake out on the Gyapdos. And I think from there, I'm going to go for, let's see. So yeah, I'm definitely going to go for a fake out on Gyapdos here. Just making sure that this gets a turn where it's not going to be able to try and target my Como is pretty valuable. And I think that I'm going to go for an Iron Defense on Como. Making sure that Como would be able to just get up any sort of defense boost should help a lot with, in general, taking hits from stuff like Galar Zapdos, as well as making sure that Dragozult's doing less damage with everything. This goes for a Draco Meteor here. I will say that could be pretty terrifying. If they switch in and get the Sand Boost as well, that could be terrifying, but that wouldn't necessarily be as big of a deal, truthfully. I think the biggest concern would actually be if this goes for Draco. I think the Dragozult going for a Draco Meteor would be a pretty big death sentence. So we're going to get the fake out off, which is already a great start if nothing else. And we're going to see, yep, Draco Meteor. Fuck, okay. That's really bad. That's actually super bad. Hopefully we take it. I do take it, actually. That's pretty good. Okay, so that's something at least. And my opponent's Life Orb, that's good confirmation. Okay, so as far as what I do this turn, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to benefit a little bit, actually, from my opponent. Most likely going for, so my opponent's probably going to go for another Draco here, if I had to guess. So between our leftovers, Grassy Terrain Recovery, I'm going to try and position myself in a way where I can maybe take this hit as well as possible. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for a Protect on the Rillaboom, and I'm going to go for a Protect on the Como. I want to try and get up as much recovery this turn as possible on Como, and then next turn, I'm going to go into Fini. Now, if they go for the dual target on the Como, good play. But I want to try and weaken this thing's dragon moves, because I think I can actually body press it and take this out. They're going to go for Como. Fuck, okay. That's actually really bad. They're trying to Bolt Beak. Okay, so that might also be very bad, but for very different reasons. I think I'm going to have to not commit to the sweep, because I do actually need this around for later. Well, do I need this around for later on? Okay, so there might be merit actually in not keeping Como around. Regardless, though, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to Grassy Glide and Dragozult, because if Dragozult does go for a Bolt Beak next turn, I can at least weaken the damage it's doing. It's resisted hit, but so is everything. And then I think I'm going to go for a Body Press, again, into the Dragozult slot. I'm anticipating Gyapdos to attack one of these Pokemon for sure this turn. I just don't know which one it will be. I think they'll value taking out the Como, though, because it's set up. So I think I'm going to kind of have to let it go down, which is a little unfortunate. No, they're targeting Rillaboom. Oh, that's pretty good for me, actually, because Dragozult... Wait, no, fuck. Okay, then I should have went Lele. I should have went Lele, because now this should KO me with Draco. Unless I get really lucky with damage rolls, which maybe I do, but I highly doubt that I'm going to take this hit. Yeah, okay, so I lose both Pokemon. Very unfortunate turn, actually. Fuck, okay. That was just my opponent getting the better of me, in all honesty. There's nothing more to it. They just made a better play, and it showed. But now I think that I'm kind of screwed over by Dragozult, actually. So they don't have Sand Up, which is actually really valuable. However, truthfully, they could... All they need to do this turn, and I think it would be enough to actually lose me the game, would be switching out Zapdos hard into T-Tar and letting Drigazolt just go for a Bolt Beak. That would be enough to kind of just lose me the game, because Drigazolt would be able to KO my Fini very easily. Now I probably have the speed advantage on it currently, but with the Sand Up, I don't think I do. I'm going to go for Gleam regardless. Their switch-ins to this are actually pretty terrible. The only switch-in to Gleam in this team would be Excadrill or Amoonguss, both of which I'm going to kind of have to just handle with Metagross. So I'm going to go for Zen Headbutt on the Zapdos slot, because I think the biggest reason for this, truthfully, would be if Drigazolt does get a Sand Boost this turn, it doesn't matter. No, actually, wait, what am I saying? If I'm predicting Zapdos to go into T-Tar, I would always attack the Drigazolt slot, or I'd go for Hammer Arm. I'm going to go for the Drigazolt slot. Just try and KO this. If they maybe benched the... Oh, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, I was going to say, because maybe they benched the... What was I going to say? Okay, so they went for Taunt. That's also actually not bad in its own right, because we did just dual attack here. And Gyarados should go down, which is actually kind of a lifesaver, because at this point, what I can benefit off of is if T-Tar comes in, I have two very easy ways to just KO the Drigazolt. If they benched for some reason, if they specifically benched the Excadrill, I think I'm actually still fine here, and I might still have an out, but it depends on the T-Tar speed. So T-Tar does come in here. That's kind of what we expected, sadly. Sadly, there was nothing I could really do about the T-Tar coming in, because I let my Pokemon go down to not predicting properly. So very unfortunate, but it is what it is. I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam, because again, I kind of have to. I'm a Specs Fini. And as far as my Metagross goes, I do kind of have to just attack the Drigazolt, because I can't let... So basically, I can't let the Tyranitar drop my speed, because then I'm going to guarantee get outpaced. They're going for Bolt Beak on this, and I do take the hit somehow. So T-Tar is definitely going to try and crunch and kill me, which that in its own right is bad, but it's not as bad. It's only bad, actually, if they brought not Drill. If they brought Drill here... No, because I don't avoid a damage draw. I'm Specs Fini. Okay, so I guarantee lost. I guarantee lost, actually. I have no out. Because if Amoonguss comes in, I can't touch it, and it gets off way too many super effective hits on me. If Excadrill comes in, that's fine, because I do no damage to it. And with Layla coming in, it just does too much damage to me. It becomes the issue there. So, yeah, I should definitively just lose to Layla. I don't actually see an out. This is a really cool team, actually. I would love to use this team as well. I hope there's like a QR code for it or something. But this was actually a pretty close game. I'll be honest, this Drigazolt matchup was fucking abysmal. I think there was way too many variables that Drigazolt provided against this particular team to where it was never really going to be in my favor, in my opinion. So it is what it is, just one of those things where, not to really like try and make excuses or anything, but I think this was just a downhill battle. I think we can still bounce back as the video progresses, so we'll hope to do that. These people, though, are people who play a lot more VGC than I do, and they're people who, this is the format where a lot of VGC players are currently playing, so if I don't get a lot of wins, I'll take just the experience of trying to learn the format a bit better. But with that said, let's get into the next match. And we are back. So currently we do see basically just fucking Tailwind galore on this team. It's literally just Whimsicott and a bunch of offensive Pokemon. So as far as my lead goes, there are a couple things actually that I think do really well here. I think that Rillaboom Fini as a lead in general would actually be amazing. The only bad Mon that could lead off here that I think would actually be kind of terrifying would be specifically if the Serena leads. Now, I'm going to probably switch out Rillaboom guaranteed on the first turn. I do want to lead it off, though, specifically as an out if Nihilego leads. I want to try and put it in a position where it's a little bit more screwed over. So, actually, I'm gonna have to not lead off with Fini, then, to do that. So I'm going to bring Rillaboom to the back, then. I think I'm actually going to lead off with... Metagross Fini, actually. Metagross Fini is a really obnoxiously good lead here, too. And if Heatran leads, what I can do, I can swap out Metagross... I can swap out Metagross into Metabuzz, which should still take the hit pretty well. And then I'm gonna bring Rillaboom in the back, because I do kind of need it for their Nihilego, as well as their Urshifu, which I'm gonna guess is Rapid. But basically I think my game plan here is to try and... I think I'm gonna try and hope that they lead off with a set that lets me click Muddy Water. I think it's pretty unlikely, though. I think I'm gonna have to click Gleam. Which isn't terrible in itself, especially if it's not Heatran or Nihilego lead. That's a really free lead to click. Just a Specs Gleam. They do have a lot that handles Fini offensively, but nothing that should outright KO it, thankfully. Nihilego and Whimsicott. Okay, so that's literally like a worst case lead for me. Okay. So what I think I'm gonna do, Let's see. So I do have a bit of deciding here. I could actually just bullet punch the Nihilego, truthfully. Nihilego probably doesn't actually really want to take a hit from me. Albeit, at the same time, though, I don't actually KO is the issue. So I guess my next question is, does Nihilego KO Fini? Nihilego does not seem to KO Fini. Guarantee actually doesn't, which is also really valuable. So what I think I'm actually going to do here, I'm going to go for a Dazzling Gleam. The Dazzling Gleam in general should be really good as well, as long as Heatran doesn't come in. And in tandem with this, this Dazzling Gleam, even in doubles, I should at the very least be able to get off enough damage to where I can roll Nihilego, or if nothing else, take it out in the following turn. So I think I'll take that. They're going to withdraw Nihilego out, right? They're probably going to Heatran, if I had to guess. I can't imagine anything else. Yep, Heatran's coming in. It's probably Flame Body if they're going to make that play. I'm perfectly fine with this taunt, actually, because it stops a Tailwind from going off, and I can Bullet Punch the Whimsicott next turn. So, I mean, to be fair, they could probably still get up a Tailwind, but maybe they take enough from the Specs Gleam, actually. That would be pretty nice, actually, in my opinion. They're not going to take enough from Specs Gleam. Okay. So I do need to switch here. What I need to do, actually, very specifically, I need to keep in Fini, because Heatran doesn't actually know that we're choiced. So I'm going to keep in Fini, and I'm going to go for Gleam, and I'm going to switch out the Metagross here, and I'm going to go into... I think I'm actually going to go for Hammer-On. Yeah, I'm going to go for Hammer-On here, because I don't see a reason to actually switch out Heatran here on Metagross here, in all honesty. If this thing goes for Heat Wave, which is probably to move a choice, it's spread, and so we can buy doubles. So yep, it's going to go for Heat Wave. I'm not concerned about that, actually. Plus, it had a chance to miss anyway. This only does about half damage anyway. So basically, the only way this actually would be able to burn me at this point would be specifically if this is a Heatran and Flame Body, which if it is, so be it. I don't really care. We get off a really strong amount of damage, though, if nothing else. I am going to switch out into Mandibuzz now with the Tapu Fini. We do have the terrain advantage, thankfully, which is great because that means I can pop a Misty Seed and we'll wall this thing to all and back. But we got off enough damage on Heatran to where I'm actually comfortable with leaving in Tapu Fini at this point. My opponent's just switching around Pokemon needlessly, and this is really beneficial for me. So they went for the Serena play, which does one, it reveals their whole team. They're benching Regidrago, which is pretty decent because it means I don't have to preserve Fini as often, and Urshifu, both of which, again, were mons that I really need to preserve Fini for. So getting this information is actually really valuable. They're protecting on the Heatran. I don't really care about that, in all honesty. I'm going to switch out here into... I'm going to definitely switch out on this turn into, I think, Rillaboom. Because I don't need Rillaboom against this team at all. Rillaboom's actually... I don't want to say it's useless, but I don't need it. Because I can Bullet Punch the Nihilego, actually, and it shouldn't do a ton of damage to me ever, no matter what the set is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go hard into Rillaboom here, and I'm going to go for a Tailwind. Actually, I'm going to go for... I think my first play is to go for a Foul Play on the Can I KO Heatran? I'm kind of curious if I can KO an offensive Heatran with Mandibuzz. Even in doubles, can I KO it? Let's see. So Foul Play actually should take it out, yeah. So I'm going to go for the Foul Play here on the Heatran. It should be guaranteed taken out. Even if this is some sort of bulky set, if nothing else, I can get some good damage on it. And I want to try and keep my Tailwind around for as long as they don't have theirs around, if that makes sense. This way I can make sure that stuff like Fini can try and clean through as many turns that they don't have terrain advantage for. I don't know, speed advantage for. So they're going to go for Heat Wave. Rillaboom avoided. That's pretty big, actually. That's a huge deal. Now, to be fair, I will say I don't know if that guaranteed the KO. I think that realistically, this might have KO'd. Truthfully, I think that if nothing else, at the very least, getting the speed advantage back with Mandibuzz is pretty big. Well, not getting the speed advantage back. Getting the Foul Play off with Mandibuzz is pretty big. Takes out one of the biggest threats for Rillaboom in this team. And I can always U-turn on Serena later on. Despite not having... so even if I do lose out on my chance to get up a Tailwind, which is pretty guaranteed at this point, Mandibuzz took way too much from Axel, which is very unfortunate. But my opponent now needs to actually choose. They need to choose between KOing my Rillaboom or KOing my Mandibuzz. So what I think I'm going to do here, I'm going to go for a Protect on Rillaboom. And I'm going to go for a Tailwind on Mandibuzz. Getting the speed advantage up even without the priority aspect, I think would be pretty big in my opinion. And I'm going to kind of hope that they take out my Mandibuzz here. Because if they take out Mandibuzz specifically, then I can go into... Let's see, so what's my game plan then? My game plan would be... Okay, so Nihilego could Sludge Wave, which would be pretty deadly. Can Serena actually take out Metagross? I think that's my next question. Can Serena take out Metagross? Oh, we're gonna give a Tailwind here. That's pretty good. Then what item is this Nihilego? Because it's either not Power Herb or it missed the attack, and I didn't notice. Their opposing team's Tailwind petered out, which is pretty valuable. So I'm gonna U-turn on the Serena this turn, because I can actually bring in Metagross pretty freely. And I'm gonna go for a Snarl here, because going for Snarl and weakening the opposing Nihilego special attack is pretty valuable. Just getting us down to 0 again, in my opinion, is better than really anything else I could do at this point. The Nihilego is going to go for Protect. That's actually literally like a best case scenario. There's nothing better that could have happened this turn in my opinion. I'm going to go, again, just right into Metagross here. Because with the fact that I'm the only one with the speed advantage at this point, I can just go for an outright a Meteor Mash, or even just, yeah, I'm going to definitely go for a Meteor Mash on the Nihilego. Just take it out before it becomes a problem. And I'm going to Foul Play on the Serena here. If for some reason the Serena does outpace and kills my Mandy, so be it. I don't actually mind that. They're going to go for a U-turn on the Metagross slot. That's also not a big deal because they're just going to go right back into Whimsicott. And they now actually need to make a 50-50 here. Because basically at this point in the game, I think that I'm actually able to situate a position where I can make sure that my opponent only has one Pokemon left. Because with Whimsicott at this point, they have to go for Tailwind or the Nihilego is just going to get outpaced. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for a Bullet Punch on the Nihilego slot. And I'm going to go for a Snarl here. Now, the logic in going for a Snarl here, I think... Well, actually, hold on. Whimsicott. How much does Whimsicott take from Snarl versus Foul Play? So, Whimsicott versus Foul Play. Yeah, okay, so Foul Play does a significant amount more. I'm going to go for Foul Play. Because I don't actually care about the... I don't care about the Whimsicott, the Nihilego not dying. I care more, truthfully, about the Whimsicott living. So, sadly, they seem to have went for KO here, which is a good play in itself. Oh, never mind. They're just slower. Oh, right, because I have the priority. Okay, so maybe my play was just taking out the Whimsicott. Still not a huge deal, actually, because I can take out the Whimsicott if nothing else. I don't mind the priority being gone, because at the very least, with Serena coming in, my play is always just a dual target on... It's always just a dual target on specifically the Nihilego. I think it's always my best play, because with Serena coming in now, if I go for a Foul Play into a Meteor Mash on this Nihilego, Nihilego should not be able to take me out. It has no spread move that actually would threaten me either at this point. If they do KO me with both Pokemon, it's a little annoying. I think there's a chance that they might, but I think I can still win this. It kind of just depends on how they play this turn. If they go for Protect on Nihilego, I think they win the game. So they're going to go for Power Gem. Okay, perfect. Go for Power Gem on the Metagross. Okay, that's great for me, actually. I think they misplayed a little bit, I'll be honest. But by doing this... Oh, are you kidding me? That didn't KO? Okay. So, then I think I lost. Wait, no, never mind. Right, because I still had the Metagross attack. What am I saying? I would have actually probably been more screwed over, truthfully, if they KO'd Metagross. Because Manabuzz... Well, no, Manabuzz outpaced... So Manabuzz actually guaranteed outpaced anyway. I actually would have been fine no matter what. Well, actually... No, I think I actually did choke. Because basically, what would have happened there? They disconnected. Okay, that's fine. So basically, the reason why I think they choked, they're not attacking the Metagross, was because Manabuzz would have lost Tailwind. It would have gotten outpaced by both those Pokemon. They could have both targeted... the Fini would have been targeted by Serena, and they could have went for a Sludge Wave and KO both Pokemon. And I think that we would have lost the game there. Regardless, I'll take the win. It was a solid game nonetheless. But we're 1-1 for the day. Well, we're 1-1 for games that I have shown. So we're going to hope for one more game. And we're going to see what happens with this next match. So I'll see you guys in the game. Okay, so we're on the final game of the day. My opponent brings Komao, Tapu Bulu, Serena, Incineroar, Suicune, and Nihilego. So right off the bat, a few things. One, this is a Tailwind team. For anyone who might not have actually played Suicune before, Suicune's probably going to be running Tailwind, Snarl, filler moves, most likely. If it's not Tailwind, it might be Speed Control in general with stuff like Icy Wind. I believe it gets both those moves in this regional decks. I just know that some people have typically run Suicunes in just other metas, as far as at least outside of this gen goes. As far as my lead, though, Fini has an amazing lead, actually. Really, the only bad mon for it is Nihilego. And I'm going to try and put it in a position where I think that my opponent will kind of have to screw themselves over. As far as my last one goes, I think I'm going to bring my own Nihilego here. I'm not huge on the Como matchup. In all honesty, I think they have enough stuff for Pokemon to just, I guess the biggest concern would be like their Como. Fuck, maybe there was a choke to not bring it. Well, no, because Serena probably has, like, Axel, for example. Suicune might have some sort of ice move. I'd be shocked if it didn't. They didn't really like their Como matchup. It was probably a choke actually not bringing this one, in all honesty. Okay, so they're going to lead off with Suicune. And so Suicune and Como lead. I'm actually really okay with this, in all honesty. I get a free Dazzling Gleam, and their switch-in is literally just Nihilego. Specifically, as far as the Suicune slot goes, I'm actually going to target that with a Zen Headbutt, because while this is most likely going to go for a Tailwind here or a Snarl, neither of which I care a ton about, I want to make sure that I can just get any sort of damage off in the off chance this doubles into Nihilego as a Fairy Resist, albeit I don't think that Como will, and while again, Como is the one that's Fairy weak here, at the same time, Como still is Psychic weak. In both cases, that would be a terrible switch in from Metagross. I think if the Como slot switches out specifically, it would actually be into Incineroar. So Suicune is going to get up a Tailwind. Yep, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious what the Como is going to go for, though. Substitute. I'm fine with that, actually. Substitute Como isn't really a big deal for me. Even with the leftovers is probably going to go for, it's not that concerning. They probably anticipated some sort of more support-based Fini, which I'm perfectly fine with. This does mean, though, that Como is just taking unnecessary damage at this point. Kind of wish I dual targeted Como slot, but I think this was still a fine play. So we know that Suicune as well is Citrus Berry, which again, this is really just a huge information turn for us, because we know that none of their other Pokemon are Citrus Berry, which is important here, because Incineroar is still a decent Citrus Berry mon. Como could have been, depending if it wasn't Iron Defense Body Press, which I do know that's the most common set on it, but it could have been an item if it was, let's say, like a Clanging Soul set. Bulu could have maybe been Citrus, but it probably wasn't. Serena probably wasn't Citrus, but it could have maybe been. Regardless, though, I'm gonna go for Gleam here. Gleam should be some pretty good damage, and I think at this point, I'm gonna go for a Zen Headbutt on the Como slot. I want to just take out the Como before it gets any sort of setup on. I do think that Como will probably switch. They're just gonna go for Protect, actually. Perfectly fine. They're stalling their own Tailwind out, which I don't mind a ton. And even with the Snarl, Fini should still do an astronomical amount of damage to that Pokemon. Especially with the fact that I'm dual targeting it. But one thing I will say, I think I'm going to go for the Zen on the Suicune slot again. Mostly just because of the fact that between Fini as well as the Metagross getting off just some good damage on Suicune, I think we could just take out their support piece right when Tailwind's about to end. And also, I think that this is the turn that Como switches out. It's shown that it's sub and Protect. I don't think it's going to try and milk this for too long, because even at -2, Gleam should still do a fuck ton, as well as a Zen in tandem with that. I can't imagine my opponent's really going to want to risk that. Plus, I can always just switch out Fini. There's nothing stopping me from doing so. And I have a lot of Pokemon that can come in to try and just switch in on this particular core when Suicune is dead, and I can reset my special attack drops. So I think that's what I'm going to kind of bank off of at this point, is just killing Suicune, the Snarlmon. Maybe Incineroar has it too, which in that case, then this is just really fucking annoying of a team comp. And then I'm going to try and reset my stat drops. So we know that Como also has Protect, which is, again, good information. We know it's leftovers. Again, good information. The Suicune's just going to go for Snarl at this point. My guess is that Como is going to go for a Substitute. But I'm honestly okay with that, because I'll guarantee break the Substitute with Fini. That's not an issue, in my opinion. Breaking the sub is never a concern. They're actually just going to go for Iron Defense. This was a pretty good play, actually, because they're trying to, at this point, hope that they live the hit, go for a Protect, stall through more turns, get more Snarls on me, and then eventually get to a point where they think they can keep a sub on both Fini and Metagross. So I actually like this play a lot, and it does take advantage of the fact that I targeted Suicune this time around. However, at the same time, now I have no reason to ever target Suicune again with Metagross, because it guarantee dies at this point to Fini, and on top of it as well, I can go for the Gleam, which still will do a lot of damage, into a Zen Headbutt on the Como. What I might actually do, this might be a little bit of a misplay, but I'm actually going to Bullet Punch on the Como slot, because I think that what's probably going to happen is it's going to go for either Protect or Substitute on this turn, and if I can get the Bullet Punch off on a Substitute turn, I think that I can potentially have stopped it from going for a Substitute at all. So it does seem like, sadly, they're going to go for an attack. A little unfortunate with the timing, but it doesn't make a huge difference in all honesty. I still KO Como either way with Fini, so at this point, we claim 2 KOs, and I can still reset my stat drops. Their last 2 Pokemon will be completely known. The only issue is, I think, if specifically Rillaboom and, not Rillaboom, Serena and Nihilego are the last 2 Pokemon. I think that could be a really annoying set for me, because at that point, Fini is kind of fucked, and I don't have great switch-ins. So what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to bring in the Mana Buzz so I can at least take advantage of Misty Seed before any terrain resets. And, okay, so they definitely have Serena, and they have Tapu Bulu. Okay, so dual grass. That's not great for me either, in all honesty, but it's definitely significantly better than what it could have been. So I don't actually need to pop a Grassy Seed versus this core. So what I think I am going to do, I'm definitely going to just let this go down. 100%. I have no reason to actually preserve Fini here, and I think truthfully trying to do so would only be more of a liability. I think I'm going to foul play on the Serena. Actually, no, because this is Glide. This is definitely a Glide Serena. Okay. Wait, no, then my play is objectively, yeah, just to foul play this. Because they're trying to take priority for my, for my Nihilego. They're trying to get the priority for my Nihilego. So going for a foul play here is definitely my best play. This is an offensive Serena for sure. And they're disguising it as Bulu as the offensive one. We'll definitely take the dodge. That's super valuable, actually. Might matter a lot, in all honesty. Just kind of depends on how many Axel hits they get next turn. Regardless, though, I'm 100% going for a Protect on Nihilego this turn. Well, am I? So here's where I'm in kind of a pickle. I think that they'll actually protect on Serena here, because if they take another foul play and I protect a Nihilego, they lose the game outright. And I think that because I had targeted Serena and I showed an interest in doing so last turn, I think they'll actually go for Protect on Serena. Now, we don't know the item to be... Well, no, if it's... Okay, you know what? I'm gonna assume they're AV. If they're making these kind of plays, I'm gonna assume that they're AV. We didn't see any sort of anything pop item-wise, and AV would still be pretty good. I'm gonna go for the foul play here. If they go for Protect on Serena, good play. They win the game. We won't know until literally the second animation goes off, so don't go for Protect Serena. They didn't go for Protect. Okay, then this is really good for me. I'm really glad I stuck to my gut. They just go for Axel anyway. We avoid another one. That actually fucking sucks for my opponent. I'm really sorry. Because they could have potentially tried to, you know, crit through me and get back at that. One thing I will say, it does make this turn kind of unnecessary because I had no reason to actually protect on Nihilego now. It's still not terrible. Like, it obviously was still a very safe play. It just didn't end up mattering because they didn't target me. And I genuinely thought they would, I'll be honest. My opponent's probably just going to forfeit here. They have no actual out. I appreciate them letting me get the KO, though. A lot of people on this ladder seem to have been just very forfeit heavy. SWSH Bulu, pretty interesting at the very least. They're probably just going to go for... Oh, that's fucking terrible. They're probably just going to go for a Horn Leech and try and get a bunch of HP back. And that could actually be kind of terrifying. But at the same time... Oh my god, they didn't KO. I'm so fucking shocked they didn't KO. That's a terrain boosted Bulu. Holy shit. And I know I didn't, like, weaken this Pokemon, right? Bulu has, like, no attack drops, and I have no Fizz Def boosts on Nihilego. This just didn't KO. Can we talk about that? That's fucking insane. Like... Oh, hold on. How bulky? This is 100 Def Nihilego. I still can't see a world with that mattered, I'll be honest. Yeah, so no defense boosts and no attack drops. Yeah, so it just didn't KO. What the fuck? Why didn't that KO? That blows my fucking mind, I'll be completely honest. Like, I know that Bulu doesn't have to run offensive investment, but holy shit, that did nothing. That's still a terrain boosted Bulu, and even if it's Focus Sash, even if it's no investment at all, I feel like that has to be like a 0 IV Bulu to even have had a chance at doing that little. Regardless though, Bulu had no way to actually try and beat my team through, and I could have potentially just tried to roost until terrain was gone, get rid of its recovery, stall it through poison plus foul play easier. So I still think I won that, even if Bulu got the KO there, but it was a good game nonetheless. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like it though, stay tuned for next week. We're going to be having part 2 of this video. And if you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe for more. Shout out to channel members being Josh, aka Ultra Player, Zeke Zero, and Mia. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I love you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next week's video. Until then, peace out, guys.